It's nice to see you this morning. All right, great. Well, great. We have a few questions we just want to go through, and this is some great, what we have here with the moderators, me being a moderator, but these breakout sessions, I know you're familiar with how these operate as you've been to many conferences and how they flow. But the great thing is now, we were in person, we can do those. Now we are on Zoom, or we're on one of these type of hop-in event platforms. And so with these questions, we just have dialogue, and it's nice for the audience to hear your feedback, and as well as you can express your experience with these points. So our first question, would you please tell us we're going to start with you, Erin. We can start with you first. And would you please tell us your organization's role and responsibility in assisting small businesses in DeKalb County?
Absolutely, and thank you for having me. I think I'm having a couple of the same technical challenges, so bear with me with this sort of awkward camera angle we've got going here. I'm delighted to be here this morning. So just to kind of quickly answer your question. So Start Me is an intensive 3-month accelerator for micro businesses. So we connect entrepreneurs to business know-how, to supportive networks, and to grant capital to build and grow successful businesses. We're place-based. So we serve entrepreneurs with strong ties to specific under-resourced communities in Metro Atlanta, specifically where there's a significant lack of micro businesses compared to more economically advantaged communities. We build and tailor each program to that local community. So in each case, Emory University's Goizueta Business School partners with trusted local nonprofits. We build a huge coalition of local organizations. We bring in about 80 mentors across our programs who volunteer a significant amount of time and talent. And we connect entrepreneurs to one another. Within DeKalb specifically, we run 2 programs. So we run Start Me Clarkston in partnership with Friends of Refugees, and that really serves kind of Clarkston and that common economic corridor. So, Stone Mountain, Tucker, Avondale. We run Start Me Eastlake, which is a partnership with the Eastlake Foundation and kind of serves Eastlake to Edgewood in DeKalb, but also within the city of Atlanta. And then we operate a 3rd program in Fulton County, serving the South Side. To date, we've served just over 350 Atlanta area businesses. 82% are led by people of color, 72% are female-led, and 23% are led by immigrant entrepreneurs. And they're all considered micro businesses. So individually, they're all really small, but collectively, they generate about $11 million in annual sales. They employ 500 people in addition to the founders. They operate 50 stores and offices, and collectively, they have a really significant economic and social impact within the county and within the broader metro area.
Wow, excellent points, Erin. Really helpful, and we really appreciate your contribution here, as well as your contribution to DeKalb County. So here now, Anthony, we have a question for you as well, the same question. Will you please tell us your organization's role and responsibilities in assisting small businesses in DeKalb County?
All right, excellent. Good morning, everyone. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. Okay. So yes, I'm in with the DeKalb WorkSource. So what we actually do, we're a federally funded program through WIOA, which just stands for Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act. We work in collaboration with about 5 other WI entities from WorkSource Atlanta, Cobb, DeKalb and Fulton County, and Atlanta Regional. And what we specialize in, as I like to say, is connecting talent to opportunity. And so the opportunity would be small businesses such as yourself. And so what we do is we actually pretty much funnel in and provide training services for those individuals who are seeking to upskill themselves, gain a type of additional credential. And then we actually assist with placement of those individuals into such opportunities with small businesses. And so we do various type of customized services on the job trainings, as well as Incubate worker trainings, which I'll discuss a little bit later in some of the panel discussions.
All right, excellent. Nice to hear. That's great. We know WorkSource brings a lot to the county as well. And so this is really good. It's nice to have you both here with us this morning. So I have another question for you. The second question this morning to really get our panel discussion going. What are the top 3 programs, and we'll go with this one with you, Erin. What are the top 3 programs or services you offer to small businesses?
So our core program is a 14-session accelerator, and we're in the midst of running all 3 in parallel. So the 2 in DeKalb and 1 in Fulton County. And we say we provide business know-how, networks, and capital. And really, it's because we know that entrepreneurs, whether they're starting high-growth tech companies or entertainment businesses or new coffee shops, they really need those 3 things to be successful. And while we believe that entrepreneurial talent and passion are in all communities, we know that access to knowledge, networks, and capital is not equally distributed. We also find that small and especially micro businesses are oftentimes overlooked. I think that they're seen as cute or like kind of a side hustle or a pat on the head kind of business. But collectively, they have a really, really significant impact in terms of serving the local needs of people who live and work in those particular communities. And I think that they are sometimes overlooked because individually they're all really small. But collectively, it's almost like diversification of a portfolio as opposed to investing in one particular business or one particular employer. They create a lot of economic opportunity and they serve a lot of local needs. So we try to build community-based accelerator programs that specifically support those kinds of local micro businesses to allow them to build and scale and thrive in place within our communities.
Oh, that's excellent. Sounds really good. I know our audience love hearing that. And so expect the phone calls and folks to reach out to you after this session. And so, Anthony, same question. What are the top 3 programs or services you offer to small businesses, or should we say WorkSource offers to small businesses?
So I'm glad you kind of chimed in on that last part there. So we also just don't specialize in small business, but all businesses, right? Because again, our mission is to keep DeKalb County going. And so in primal to small businesses, how we assist there is our work-based learning opportunities. And so these are opportunities that we're able to funnel in actual participants that come in through WIOA, looking to upscale or gain, like I said earlier, the specific credentials, because we do focus on 5 high demand fields, from healthcare to IT, construction, logistics, and transportation. We do also, funnel people into our individual training accounts. So these are community partners such as like Georgia Piedmont College and other technical schools that provide certain certifications. It could be anything in the likes of project management all the way to CNAs and so forth of that nature. And so what we do is we match these participants again with these small businesses in a course in providing when I say work-based learning experiences, the kind of just sum it down would be an internship, right? So they're able to come onto these small businesses. We actually pay a stipend for that. So that way there's no financial burden on the small business. And then that way, if they are satisfied with the actual work of that participant, they can actually hire them on as well. And so in addition to that, we do provide customized training. This is what we work with the small business in developing an individual plan for their specific needs, for their employment needs. And we'll work with them or with an ITA provider in developing the curriculum that will be needed for that particular occupation field. Another way that we assist as well, it was with our IWT, which is our Incubate worker training. This is just to basically help retain a skilled labor force and to also assist in averting layoffs. And so that way, if you're in an actual need, you need to actually provide additional training for your current employees, we can assist in that and providing a stipend and funding for that as well.
Wow, great, excellent. I mean, this is some really good information this morning, and it sounds like with both of your entities, there is a lot for not only small businesses, but for businesses in DeKalb County. And we heard Dorian talk about how the growth of DeKalb County, how it's growing and things are happening here. So we know the two of you and your organizations will truly continue to be a part of that. And I see Dr. Clark working it in. Once he gets in, Dr. Clark, you're in, and then I'll pass the baton to you. And so let's go to our next question. What trends, and this is for Erin, what trends are you seeing that small businesses are doing to be resilient? We hear a lot of discussion now, especially during this pandemic, about resiliency. And so what do you see as what small businesses are doing to be resilient and to build back stronger? What trends are you seeing?
I would say that the trends are a little different than pre-COVID, but that's not necessarily true. I find that entrepreneurs are super passionate, they're super dedicated to their ideas, and they're sort of naturally creative, and they're naturally adaptive. So, I see the same trends that I saw prior to the onset of the pandemic, in the sense that they're always pivoting and adapting their business to serve the needs of their customers, serve the needs of their local communities. Certainly things have been much more complicated over the last couple of years. And that's partly because people are balancing working on and in their businesses with all kinds of outside challenges and complications, lack of childcare, covering Zoom schooling, certainly, health concerns and social fears. And, things have just become they've become more challenging. But I think what I have observed in a lot of the entrepreneurs that we've worked with is that they have still seen the opportunity that exists, and they're trying to find ways to adapt their business to really take part of that opportunity. So that may mean moving their business online. That may mean, changing the way that they sell to customers. It may be moving something that they formerly did inside in a salon to mobile outside on people's porches. I think that what I see is that similar creativity and, adaptability in order to find ways to make it work.
Oh, great. It's nice to hear you. It sounds like there's some innovation going on there as well. I mean, the challenges are there. Being resilient is key. We hear a lot about resiliency, especially during this time now. And so we also have joining us here, Imani Beckles from DeKalb. Imani, nice to see you this morning.
Hi, good morning. It also feels good to see that I'm not the only person having technical difficulties. It's nice to see some smiling faces. I am Imani Beckles. I'm DeKalb's Business Retention and Expansion Manager. Although I couldn't get on the screen, I heard I've heard all the things that the two of my partners have been saying, and it's spot on with what is going on right now with small businesses. Also, to add to that, it's because of people like Erin and Anthony that DeKalb is able to connect small businesses to some of the resources that they provide. And that's what we've seen has been helping lately. Sorry, I just had to jump in. And I was like in the background, silently like kudosing, like, yes, those are the answers. Good morning, everyone.
Well, Imani, that's really good. And before I pass the baton to Dr. Clark, I'm going to ask you this question. I mean, you're right in with the flow. This is great dialogue. So what trends are you seeing that small businesses are doing to be resilient and to build back stronger? What trends are you seeing?
Absolutely. To Erin's point, they are definitely becoming innovative. I've seen small businesses get very creative with marketing tactics, letting their customer base know if they're somewhere that you have to visit in person, letting their customer base know that it is safe to attend their event, showing like cleaning tactics or just assuring people. The biggest one that I think I have seen, and everybody else can tell me if this is yes or no matter what the business is, the businesses that I have seen show that they care about their employees and their customers have been able to kind of like pick themselves up a little bit during this pandemic, because the pandemic has kind of shifted us being so focused on self. Like when we're going to obtain services or go into a restaurant or a business, and now we want to know overall culture. Like, are you taking care of yourself? Are you taking care of your employees? Am I safe to come in that regard? So I think that's the trend, being creative and then also showing compassion and care. If that, just to add to what Erin said. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like there's a lot to this resiliency. I know there's been some discussion statewide about our businesses being resilient, prepping them. Hopefully we don't have some type of disaster like we've had with this pandemic, but prepping them not only for that, but even a downturn in business and helping to be resilient. And so at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass it to our colleague here, Dr. Irvin Clark, and then he can ask that question also to Anthony Sims, the third question in reference to resiliency. Dr. Clark, please. You're still muted. I think something's just trying to stop you from jumping in on these.
It's trying to stop it.
That's okay. We're going to keep working. While we're having a dialogue, Dr. Clark, if we get that to work, you can just say like test or whatever. And once I hear you, I'll pass it to you. And so, Anthony, we got that same question for you. What trends are you seeing that small businesses are doing to be resilient and to build back stronger?
Absolutely. I think my colleagues pretty much got everything there. But one of the biggest things that I kind of just wanted to highlight is just even like how we're on this platform here today. Right. I have seen an increased awareness as far as networking with actual small businesses going out and seeking additional resources. Right. Because, again, I appreciate being on this platform to share our resources with small businesses. So we've seen an increase in participation of webinars throughout various industries of small businesses and memberships and events. We've also seen, of course, incentive offerings, including bonuses. We've also seen, as my colleagues were saying, a pivot, right, from that hybrid, from the in the office to a hybrid remote schedule and so forth. And so I think, small businesses have just been greatly able to adapt to the changing economy. But as we know, entrepreneurship itself is an actual adaptation of common just. I'm sorry, I had somebody up my door there. It's just common ways of just going against, not to say against the grain, but the general spectrum of just a 9 to 5. And so with entrepreneurship opportunities, we have seen just increasing just their scale of business, just the actual way their business plans are structured, and how they go about with their services and products.
All right, great. I know one thing here at the Chamber that we're also pushing is looking at an opportunity for resilience planning, helping our businesses begin to plan and look at being resilient. I know it'll take some time to amend business plans and adopt this new approach, but we know that it's something that's necessary and going forward in our business industry, no matter what industry you're in. So our next question, and see Dr. Clark still working it. So how do a small business, and Imani, we'll start with you. How do a small business contact you or your team regarding the services you provide?
Okay, perfect. Thank you. You must have seen the burning light bulb in my head. There was something else that I wanted to say to Anthony's point. Outside of just that networking, we have seen, and they can speak to this as well, we have seen businesses team up with each other. Like, I've been on visits and they've said, well, this business down the street buys this from me and I buy this from them. So just kind of like keeping that money flowing within themselves, that is becoming a part of their resiliency. But in specific, how to contact Decide to Cap or myself, you can either email us. All of our information is like first name, last name at decidetocap.com, like Beckles@decidetocap.com. If that's too much to remember, because sometimes it is, we have a contact us form right on our website, and telephone numbers also listed. So there are plenty of streams of how to get to us. The other way is to either talk to any of my colleagues. Dr. Clark is able to get to our team. The president of the chamber can get to our team. Just let us know. We're accessible. We're here. We also have a Facebook, Instagram, and we're on LinkedIn. My marketing person would kill me if I didn't say that. We're literally reaching out whichever way we can and responding to how you need us to. Yeah.
Oh, great. Excellent. And Anthony, how do small businesses contact our WorkSource team regarding the services you provide?
Okay. So there's a few ways for them to contact us. You can go to WorkSource.org and go to our website and actually fill out a business referral request form, or you can go to our atlworks.org site as well and do the same for the business request form. Or again, we do have Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, all that of that nature. So as well. So there's quite a few ways for them to get in contact with us.
All right, excellent. Erin, how do they do that? How do they contact you if they need some services regarding services you provide?
I will echo the same. I went ahead and dropped our website in the chat. That's probably the easiest for finding all of our various social media platforms and newsletter, whatever is the right channel that you prefer to receive that information. And we're also very easily accessible through that site.
All right, excellent. This is great. This is very great dialogue. So I'm going to go into another question. Just have a few more for you. This is some good dialogue this morning for our audience. So according to studies, one of the top problems small businesses face is access to capital. How does your organization help with this? Let's start with Erin.
So that's absolutely a critical problem. The majority of the entrepreneurs that we serve, about 2/3, are from low to moderate income households. And so they don't necessarily have significant savings to kickstart a business and don't necessarily have a broad friends and family network that are like a rich uncle or a neighbor who's looking to invest in a business. The way that we bridge that in a small way in our program is that we have $30,000 in peer selected grant capital whenever we run our programs. So effectively, the entrepreneurs and mentors in each cohort allocate that capital. We democratize the decision-making process. And we basically think of it like friends and family or community money. So it allows the entrepreneurs to pilot and test and grow, but in a way that doesn't necessarily have huge financial drawbacks. If it doesn't work, then it was a great opportunity to try it out and you move on. If it does work, excellent. Reinvest that back into the business. So, past recipients have been able to use that to purchase woodworking equipment, a hand tractor and supplies for a growing season, industry-specific certifications, things that allow them to launch forward. And then we spend a lot of time demystifying capital. So we talk about traditional and non-traditional capital pathways. We invite lenders and CDFIs and alumni entrepreneurs to come in and speak about their experiences and really kind of broaden people's perspective on what may be available at different stages of their business.
Oh, excellent points, Erin. And so it looked like I lost Imani. Anthony, we'll go with this question for you. The same thing. According to studies, one of the top problems small businesses face is access to capital. How does your organization help with this?
Yeah, so I probably get in trouble for saying this because I was told not to say this, but our primary focus, again, would be human capital on that aspect for the workforce development side. And so how we actually do that is through our, like I said, earn and learn opportunities through our WEX, which again is a stipend that we would actually pay for the employees that we that actually will participate on that actual internship at the small business. And so we do this for up to 16 weeks. And again, and this helps with the small business with their bottom line, as well as any financial burdens that they may be going through. Another aspect of us assisting in that aspects of labor force is through, again, we pretty much serve as a human resource to the small business, right? Because we do know a lot of small businesses may not have a human resource department, nor may they have a human resource person in their actual business. And so they may themselves operate as that human resource contact. And so we're able to recruit candidates, we're able to canvass them, we're able to conduct the interviews and vet these candidates out as well. And then it just saves them time and money. It saves them time in going out and going and try to get a staffing agency and so forth of that nature. And so that's how we kind of alleviate that bottom line for small businesses.
Great. And Anthony, there's one thing you have as well with WorkSource. With small businesses or even any size business in DeKalb County, the opportunity where they can leverage. I mean, looking at, and what I mean by that is that when they have a need to train the workforce, expand on that just a little bit. When you're talking about reducing cost for a business, how can WorkSource be a partner in that?
Yeah, so there are two ways that we actually go through about that. What I was saying earlier, through the on-the-job training. This is a specified, customized training that, again, we'll work with the small business in developing a curriculum for that. For that on-the-job training, we will actually pay about 50% of the training wages for like, so say if you have 2 or 3 employees that you are working with us to go through that on-the-job training, we will pay up to 50% or more of the wages as they go through the training for up to 6 months. So again, that also helps with the small business's bottom line. And so in that way, if they again complete the training in full, they would be able to hire these people on full time through that aspect of that program. But then we also have our Incubate worker training, and that's what I was speaking to earlier, just to assist in retaining a skilled workforce and to avert layoffs. And so we assist the small business with actually, again, devising a curriculum. We may work with like I said, ITA provider, which is just our individual training accounts. Like I was saying with Dr. Clark on the line with Georgia Piedmont, to be able to provide upskill training for their current labor force to be able to increase not only their business, whether it's an expansion or anything like that, but to also retain their current labor force due to any, hiccups or matters of lack of training.
All right, that's excellent. Some really good points there, Anthony. We really appreciate that. And Dr. Clark, we got Imani is back, and we have that question for her. Can I turn it over to you yet?
Oh.
Still can't hear you. Oh, yeah, we'll get you worked out. We'll get it figured out here shortly. All right, Imani, and you're with Decide DeKalb, and I know our audience is waiting to hear. So, according to studies, one of the top problems small businesses face is access to capital. How does your organization help with this?
Okay, great question. And yes, that's a problem we're seeing every day, unfortunately. But we help with connecting them to our partners, such as people at Lift Fund, ACE, SCORE, the Greater Atlanta Urban. Don't get me tongue-tied today. So essentially what will happen is we at Decide DeKalb don't have any personal money right now to give out. We did administer a grant loan program maybe about 2 years ago now. The pandemic time is like, it escapes me. And then we went through LISC and they administered those funds. At this time, we don't have any more funds personally at our organization. But like I said, we will connect them to banks such as Truist so that they can talk to our partner there, or Lift Fund, ACE, SCORE. Any of those things is what we see smaller businesses go through. And if we can't help them connect to those people, we often turn and ask our partners at SBDC what they've got going on. We'll ring Erin's ear if we can. So just we act as a liaison to get them to those opportunities. In the future, if we do or are granted more funds, we'll administer another round. But for right now, that's what we have right now.
All right, excellent. Would you recommend anything as far as when a small business is trying to access capital? What are some of the things they can do to prepare themselves to be ready to access capital?
Okay. I'm gonna take what I've learned from like talking to our previous partner at Truist. They recommend that they start doing like some type of financial literacy type classes so that they can understand how to separate my funds from business funds, so that you understand like not to intermingle, just have best practices. So that way, when you are awarded this money or you are able to access to capital, that you'll be able to manage it properly. We also find that it's best when you start to develop a bank relationship. So again, I literally always turn to the experts. I'm like, hey, I have a person that's asking this. What can they do? And that's usually how they get on the right track. But honestly, having a good foundation and understanding of capital money that is going to your business and money that is your personal money, like I think that's the number one step there before obtaining anything else. Yeah.
Oh, that was some really good advice, Imani. We appreciate that. That was really good. I know I kind of switched it up a little bit, but I just want to dive a little deeper into that dialogue. So good job.
Absolutely.
All right. So and we're going to start, Anthony, I'm going to give you the chance to go first this time. And so what are your small business goals for 2022 or beyond?
Yeah, just in short, one of our major goals, right, is just to keep supporting small businesses with their employee retention. That's been the primary focus, especially in the midst of the pandemic. And like I said, how we've been doing that is through our on-the-job training and our Incubate worker trainings. But then also, like I said, being that additional human resource conduit to be able to and connect our talent to their opportunities. And so pretty much in a nutshell there, that's pretty much one of our biggest pieces there is, again, just to continue to connect our participants because we have a significant pipeline because, again, like I said, we have people that come in that are currently already in the midst of training. And so once they come out of these training programs, we're looking to connect them right away. And so that just kind of alleviates that time span of going out and trying to, like I said, recruit themselves and trying to find qualified individuals, because again, we do vet all of our individuals, and we do match the best possible candidates with the opportunities that the small businesses offer.
All right, excellent. Great information. And Erin, what are your small business goals for 2022 or beyond?
So many. I was really thrilled to hear what Dorian DeBar was saying earlier about the business loan and grant program that's going to be rolled out through an equity lens. Beyond capital, which is, certainly critical as businesses are trying to start and grow. I'd really like to see broader support for the pipeline of businesses. So, those that are starting out kind of at the top of the funnel, if you will, those that are maybe operating out of their homes or more informally, those that are kind of doing this nights and weekends, but want to take this to full time, want to open up a storefront, want to hire other people to basically support along the entire lifespan of the businesses. I think there are creative things we're seeing in some other cities that I would love to see explored in DeKalb and in other places. So, similar to set-asides for affordable housing, there are set-asides for affordable commercial real estate space. So kind of like workforce housing. It basically allows a broader set of entrepreneurs to open physical spaces. I'd love to see more retail incubator spaces for entrepreneurs to test and pilot and prove their model before they pour everything into starting and scaling their own individual space. And then, just sort of beyond that, I'd love to just see broader connectivity and broadening of small business support. I think that entrepreneurship endures during pandemics and uptime and upsides and downsides, if you will, but we've certainly seen a surge in individuals starting their own entrepreneurial ventures, whether it's as a side hustle or, as a full-time job. And, the more that we can surround and support and connect them to collaborate with one another and to build and grow in a healthy way really allows them to be more vibrant and for the journey to be, more empowering and maybe a little bit less lonely.
Oh, great, Erin. Thank you. And, I like the point of collaboration. You spoke on that, and that's really important, understanding that, there are challenges out there in businesses. I mean, although in the same industry, they could assist one another, they could partner, there's things they could benefit, but collaboration is key. And we're seeing that even here at the Chamber and with our partners that, we're meeting and we're talking about collaboration, what we can succeed with and benefit from by collaborating. So great point. So Imani, same thing, same question. What are your small business goals for 20 or decide DeKalb for 2022 or beyond?
Absolutely. And I just realized that since I didn't get in at the beginning, I couldn't say this, and this is usually what helps the most. We're here for permitting assistance. Once you get ready to go and like maybe some things are feeling like they're held up, just contact us, give us your permit number. Oftentimes we try to, if we can, try to get like a pre-submittal meeting going so that they can go in knowing what they need. That way they don't get like held up that way. But overarching goals is just to have small business know that they are supported, because Decide DeKalb as well as WorkSource DeKalb and every other opportunity out there is there for them. It's just hard, I guess. It's hard for one person, like when Erin was saying, if this is their side thing or they do it on the weekend and it just hasn't gone ramped up full scale, it's hard for them to know that there are resources out there. So I guess we just want to have more visibility. That's why we're on all platforms, be it Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. That way they can see, even if they have no idea when they see the name Decide DeKalb, they'll click on it and see that we're there for them. But permitting, that's one of the biggest scary ones we see with small businesses. And we are here to take on it as if it's our business, and we'll contact the county, we'll be in contact with them. And then after that, we'll continue with like business visits. Workforce is another one. And that's when I would just say, hey, Anthony, do you have anybody that can be placed here? Just literally just making sure they're aware of the resources, or that's really it. Letting them know that there's support here for them. That's the biggest goal.
All right.
They're supported and we're here.
Excellent. Excellent. Dr. Clark, I was going to call you, but I see you went back out again, but that's all right. Once you get a chance, just say test or something so I can hear you. And so I know that we are, I want to make sure that as we go through these questions and these points, that I'm not missing on the opportunity to receive questions from our audience, as I know they probably have some that they would like to bring out, as our team has really been doing an excellent job here working through this. And so how about this? Another question for you. And we're going to start here with, let's see, Anthony, we're going to start with you in WorkSource. Can you share with us a small business success story that WorkSource or one of your programs was instrumental in?
Yeah, absolutely. So as I was speaking with the work-based learning, so the earn and learn opportunities as in internship, we were able to connect 2 viable candidates over at Transformations Lead LLC, which is an IT company located in Tucker, Georgia. Our participants have been working with them, I want to say about 5 weeks in the duration of their 16 weeks plan. But what we've been able to do is, again, we were able to provide them with actually qualified candidates that were able to just come into the door, start to get the ground running, and been able to just adapt to the increased training, specified training that Transformation Lead has been providing them with regards to specific data retrieval and IT related matters. And so because of that actual connection that we've been able to build with them, with our participants that are in their current earn and learn opportunity, Transformation Lead has also come back to us and requested for an apprenticeship because they believe there was a national IT award that was awarded to them. And so they would actually be the first company in the state of Georgia to assist in conducting a IT apprenticeship program. And so we're currently working with them on that. Again, we'll be able to connect them with our candidates and our talent pool here, but we're working with them on the funding for the apprenticeship and so forth of that nature, so that way we can pay a substantial stipend and cover a majority portion of that cost.
Wow, that is excellent. I mean, I know our audience heard that. I mean, that's really good. I mean, the impact not only on the county, but on the state of Georgia. So Anthony, we truly appreciate that. And so let's see here. I'll go with, I'm gonna have Erin go last. I always have her go first, but I'm let her so she can take a breather here. So Imani, same question. Can you share with us a small business success story that your organization or program was instrumental in?
Absolutely. So there's a company out of Chambly, Doraville. It's a technology in DeKalb, so we love that. It's Hermeus, and we've helped them with attracting great they're attracting great talent. They came to us and they needed some permitting assistance, so we helped them navigate the setup in between. And when it came to attracting great talent, I don't know, because we all live in Georgia and we know how great it is here in DeKalb County. If someone's never been here, they don't understand. It's horrible. They still think like, oh, do you guys have streetlights? Are there tall buildings? Like, we'll blame TV for that. We were able to connect them to resources that would allow them to have the marketing and selling points to tell their potential candidates all the great things that DeKalb County and Georgia have to offer. But the biggest one was that permitting in the beginning, and we helped them throughout, be it trying to connect them to the local players in the city, within the county, just so that they have that exposure, so people know what's going on, where they are, what they're doing, and so we can rally behind a great company in our county. Yeah.
All right, perfect. Excellent. Thank you for that, Imani. And Erin, can you share with us a small business success story that your organization and or your program was instrumental in?
Sure. So, business that I really love, in part because it's a beautiful business. It makes beautiful products. It's run by a beautiful person, but is Rochelle Porter Designs. Rochelle went through our Clarkston program at this point, probably 5 years ago. And, she makes eco-friendly home goods and athleisure wear, and everything that she makes is really beautiful. She hand designs all of it. She's very thoughtful about her environmental impact. She's very thoughtful about her social impact. And it's really the kind of business that we aim to work with. She took this from part-time to full-time. She's been expanding her sales channels. She now has products on the shelves in West Elm and Home Goods. She's currently in Real Simple magazine this month. Okay. But she's also been featured in, Southern Living and O Magazine, HGTV. And the way that we try to help businesses like hers and kind of all the businesses that we work with across industries is to lay that solid foundation to build a business on top of. So, we try to meet people where they are and then help them build a business so they can move in the direction they want to go. And I realize that sounds extremely broad, but the idea is that we don't prescribe what their growth pathway should look like. Some people want to keep a job, keep their business as a part-time job, and that's totally fine. Others really want to expand and grow. And so we try to help them lay the foundation that they'll need in order to achieve what their own business ambitions and goals are. So I think in the case of Rochelle, she really wanted to take it from something that she loves doing as a passion, and she was doing on the side while also employed full-time, kind of in a related industry. She really wanted to run this business full-time. And so, it's been really wonderful to watch that business grow and expand. And now, to be able to find products on the shelf at a store that I would otherwise be shopping in anyway, I think is an example of like a nice local success story.
All right, excellent. Thank you, Erin, for those points. So I'm going to take a few questions from our audience here. And the first one really centers around apprenticeship. And so when we start thinking about apprenticeship, so is there anything that you can highlight for us here, this idea of apprenticeships, especially in manufacturing and advanced technical skill areas? Are we seeing anything, or are your organizations providing assistance in these areas? Let's start with you, Anthony.
Yeah, so interesting enough, we're actually working with Dr. Clark right now with a company called Amp Robotics. They're actually located in Lithonia, Georgia. They are actually a recycling manufacturing plant. We actually took a tour there. They're only about 6 months open here in the state of Georgia. And so they're not even at full capacity in their labor force, right? And so what they're doing is coming to us now for additional assistance and funding, but also to be able to provide recruitment. We've been able to funnel over about, I want to say, 5 candidates within the first week. But right now, like I said, we're currently in the midst of doing the Incubate worker training program through them, because again, like I said, they've only been employed 6 months, their current labor force, and so that's only the requirement up under for the WIA standard for Incubate worker training, is that you have to have employees. Well, the median, let me say that the median, right, has to be about 6 months. So you could have, a couple workers that may have just started working a month or two ago, but the mass majority of your labor force have been working for 6 months. And so to help and assist them to get them to full capacity, we're currently working in that actual, like I said, the training program to upskill their current labor force and to be able to provide a general curriculum for new onboarding employees that come on board with Amp Robotics.
All right, excellent. Well, thank you, Anthony, for that. Appreciate it. And so, Erin, same question. What are you seeing around the idea of apprenticeships, especially in manufacturing and advanced technical skill areas?
So it's a good question. And what I actually would say is, that we don't end up really focusing on the area because there's so many other organizations that do it better than we do. We don't try to recreate the wheel there. So, we try to connect the entrepreneurs that we serve to organizations like WorkSource that are already really well equipped and have those resources in place. In a very small way, we will layer in, because we're tied in with Emory University's Goizueta Business School. We'll bring in students as kind of, small internship or apprenticeship support. And they really bring a lot of passion and commitment to the community. And so it's really kind of a nice way to bridge the university with kind of the broader Atlanta community. But, in general, we really lean on the organizations like WorkSource that do this really well.
All right, excellent. So Imani, how about that same question for you? We talk about apprenticeships. So can you comment a little bit on what you are seeing around the idea of apprenticeships, especially in manufacturing and advanced technical skill areas?
So my answer is going to be a lot like Erin's. That's not within our wheelhouse. That's the best thing about like playing your strengths and knowing your strengths. But also the great thing about our county is there are people such as Anthony and Dr. Clark who we can call on with those questions. And that way we feel super supported and know that they will be placed with the potential talent.
I don't know who that is.
I can hear you. All right, very good. Okay, so it looks like everything is going to work just fine.
Yep. You want to navigate your slides?
Hold on one second.
Formatting got thrown off.
Hold on. I apologize. I think that must be me.
Easier fact, yes.
All right, go ahead. Apologize for that.
Okay. I was like, we're being joined by another group.
Like you're being hacked.
We need comic relief here, so it's fine. Yeah, just what Erin was saying, we would definitely call on WorkSource and Dr. Clark at the college and say, hey, we've seen or we've gotten a request for an apprentice. Do you have somebody that fits this nature? Typically, all we have to do is literally put out that bat signal and they swoop in and take care of it. And that's just the strength that the county has. I love it.
Yeah. It sounds like, Anthony, everyone's leaning on you on that question. Some of what you provide there. I mean, you at WorkSource, that's what you do. And so, I mean, what is nice to hear about WorkSource is all the different opportunities and programs you have where that you can leverage and collaborate here with our partners that are on here today, as well as those in the audience. So I got another question here and we're going to start with Imani for this one. And this is from another one from our audience. And it's speaking of small business funding. I saw on the internet where in Atlanta is re-implementing the Resurgence Grant Fund for small businesses. Will DeKalb be reapplying for this funding?
Okay, that is a great question. And to my understanding, Atlanta is using a portion of their federal relief money for that, and it's not a separate grant that the city had received. At this time, I'm not aware that DeKalb has another loan or grant fund planned, but we definitely can refer anyone to our lending partners if they're in need of funds. So I know it's always like, what's Atlanta doing and why isn't anybody else doing it? I just say the same way we say that small businesses are getting innovative and crafty. I think they're literally using a portion of that relief fund that they've already had, and they're just like renaming it and dispersing it that way. So there's that one.
All right. Well, great. Thank you. And Erin, you want to comment on that? Do you have anything you want to bring about?
All I can say is that I hope that something like that is increasingly available. I don't think it necessarily needs to mirror Atlanta's model. I think that in the introduction, there was certainly talk of having a business loan and grant program, and I think that that's fantastic. I think that expanding the various sources of capital that are available to entrepreneurs basically opens up the doors to more people at different stages of running businesses. So I'm all for it.
All right, excellent. Anthony, anything from our WorkSource team in reference to this re-implementing this Resurgence Grant Fund for small businesses?
I will be honest with you. I do not have an answer for you, but I do appreciate my colleagues for sharing some knowledge with me. So I appreciate that.
All right, no problem. I can tell the audience that even here at the DeKalb Chamber of Commerce, we're looking to spread our umbrella, our wings even farther, and looking at opportunities where we can bring in grant funds to help small businesses. So we're looking at two different opportunities to help small businesses, those that are in distressed areas, economically distressed areas of DeKalb County, and then also trying to find ways in which we can help small businesses begin to develop their resilience plan, and so that they're stronger in the future. And then we can connect them to groups like yours today, as well as SCORE, to help continue to build on their success. And I do see another question here about DeKalb County and mentioning that using their CDBG allocation for a revolving loan fund. I'm not quite sure. I don't know if any of you know that. Imani, if you know, I know that, CDBG has been around since the 70s. And the revolving loan funds have been around for decades as well. Do you see anything in DeKalb County in reference to revolving loan fund?
I can't speak to that point right now, but I did copy that comment. So I'll take it back to Dorian and Randy, our VP, because that would be interesting. So, and then Tyrone, if you want to, I'll drop my email address in the chat. If you want to send me more things that you have directly on that, we could see what you're talking about. Yeah. There was another one that's asking about opportunity zones. Currently, there are only 2 opportunity zones in DeKalb County. That is not something that Decide DeKalb controls. So we'll go there. But also, I'll drop our website because you can look on our website to find those opportunity zones.
All right, excellent. Excellent points. Yeah, revolving loan funds are great. A lot of good work, a lot of good things you can get from those as well. So my last question for this morning. And then we'll have the opportunity to go back to the stage and listen to our keynote speaker, Dr. Tavares Halston from Georgia Piedmont Technical College. So what is one advice you would give to small businesses on how to build a relationship with DeKalb and your organization? Erin, let's start with you.
It's an excellent question. So, I think I mentioned before that, entrepreneurship is really empowering, but it can be kind of lonely, especially if you don't come from an entrepreneurial family or your friends aren't entrepreneurs. It's hard to have a network around you. So I guess what I would say is find your supportive network, whatever that may be within, your geography or even online. Find other entrepreneurs, supportive mentors, other local support organizations, community-focused capital providers, and I'll sort of include us in that, broad DeKalb ecosystem. But find the network that you need, and be an active member of that. And I think that I find that makes the journey a little bit easier. It can make it a little bit less lonely, and it can make it, more successful.
Excellent, Erin. Thank you. Really appreciate your input this morning. Let's go with Anthony. What is one advice you would give to a small business on how to build a relationship with DeKalb County and your organization?
Yeah, so I would just echo pretty much what Erin said, because as I was speaking earlier, one of the trends that we have seen is just increase in networking within various industries throughout DeKalb County, and joining memberships, attending these events, these forums and so forth to attain additional resources and tools, right? Because again, like I said, I myself was on the call and just learned some new information just by being on the panel today with you guys. And so just again, at that continuing of what Erin said, find a support network. But then also just, you may want to also just look at other additional events or memberships that may be not within your particular field, right? So there may be certain aspects of information that you may not have by just by staying centralized in manufacturing forums and so forth of that nature. And so just broadening that expansion of that horizon there and attending these different events, these different forums will be able to give you a well balance of resources and information that you can come back and then actually, as Erin I think stated earlier, with small businesses working amongst themselves to be able to share with another local small business. And that's just a continuing cycle, is that domino effect. And so I think that's the biggest piece for small businesses in their relationship. But with WorkSource DeKalb, it's just a simple contact us on our website, send us a business referral. We'll come out to your site if needed be, do a virtual appointment as well. And then that way, like I said, we'll sit down and be able to see what your actual needs are and then devise a plan to be a better assistance and servitude towards you.
Excellent. Imani, we have approximately about 1 minute. So
I'm just going to literally say, echoing what they said, I know that's feels like beating a dead horse, but it's that networking aspect and then reaching out to see what could be done for just your specific company. But that networking and not being afraid to be innovative and just trying some things. Like the pandemic hasn't taught us one thing. It's just literally try and try and try. And you may strike gold that one time, and that's it from there.
That's encouraging. Well, thank you, our panelists this morning, for participating in this small business development breakout session. We enjoyed it, and we look forward to partnering with you on the other sessions and opportunities we have here at the DeKalb Chamber of Commerce. So now let's make our way back to the stage and prep ourselves for our keynote address.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
You are so welcome. Thank you.